Stefan and everybody. Thanks for staying so long. Actually, we are at the end of the conference. I had something to talk about. I had some ideas about 5G orchestration, network slicing, and automation. But again, when I heard lots of questions today, I kind of redesigned myself what to talk a little bit, because there was great questions about OSS, the orchestration layer, and Michaela was asking about service assurance, how the security, how the end-to-end system on the top can monitor and take action. So I'll kind of going to shift a little bit my talk on that. So end of the day, but I want to talk about, of course, about 5G and orchestration, network slicing, and automation, and their roles in the networks. Okay. As you see in this slide, we are on the path. This is an extraordinary revolution, right? What's happening in the industry, and with the 5G, the world will be completely different. What we are what we see today. It took almost 100 years to connect 1 billion devices, or 1 billion is basically fixed telephony, right? Fixed, to the homes, 1 billion customers. And it only took, the pace of change is so extraordinary, it only took 25 years to build 5 billion connections. Most of them are mobile technology. And what we're going to see is by 2020, there will be 26 billion devices, connected devices. Predominantly, it's going to be Internet of Things devices, basically. So the connectivity between things to things. And also we stay, Ericsson actually predicted that. We stand by that. Still, there will be, our vision is 50 billion devices, in after 2022. We still, maintain that forecast. Oops, what happened? Next, sorry guys. Okay, there are lots of questions in the morning about 5G. 5G people, general intention or a tradition is, okay, it's a radio technology. So we got 4G, LTE, we're going to go to 5G. It's all radio technology, a lot of upgrades, extra bandwidth, but it's not really about just the radio technology. So 5G is all about virtualization, software-defined control, management and orchestration, end-to-end, service orchestration, resource orchestration, and also blockchain for data integrity, So also it's from the radio, the transport, as well as all the way to the core. So 5G is the entire thing. And there are key parts within the 5G, because the expectation will be different in 5G. The expectation is to deliver complex services, and also agility becomes very critical. So one of the two cornerstones of 5G is automation and agility, which is very critical. So agility, what I mean is network agility and service agility. And obviously the automation is very critical. And the 5G will open up lots of new business opportunities. Some of the business opportunity we have never seen before. So I cannot predict today, but once the network comes up with 5G, you will see. Just think about an example. I always think about this example personally. In 2G, 3G times, right? There was no Uber and Lyft. But I'll tell you, imagine Uber and Lyft in 1G, 2G. I don't think it'll ever work. The 4G really, you're getting down on SFO, you're watching your car is coming to you, all of this. We never thought, when Ericsson was a pioneer in that, when we introduced LTE with Verizon, for example, we never thought, at least I never thought, there will be Uber and all of this disruption will take place in the transport industry. Just 4G alone did that. And 5G is going to be even extraordinarily, different. Obviously, the user experience will be tremendous. The AR, VR will play a big thing. But I can tell you, even in 4G, Ericsson actually introduced this high-speed LTE network in China, actually. So there is a Hainan Express from that island. It's a fast train. Physically, people are moving fast, but they're also having AR, VR. And they're experiencing the great experience using actually it was like 1 gigabit LTE network. So it's already there, some of the speeds coming up. But 5G is about, like I said, virtualization, and many of the technologies will be node. Okay. I just want to touch upon some of the, expected, good example. Some of it has already started to come within the 4G with high-speed 4G. But in 5G, for example, we'll see some of the examples. You can download a full HD movies in minutes and seconds. That will be the speed. And some of the key characteristics in 5G, this is very, very important. Why this 5G will enable all of this? Because the network is expected to provide very, very low latency. That's critical. And high battery, 10 times more battery, power, basically because of the transmission and reception, needs of the power. So this is really important for IoT devices, because some of the IoT devices may be in the mountains, in an unreachable place. We don't want to go all the time and changing the batteries. So 10x battery capacity is tremendous. It'll open up very new business cases. Like you see the AR, VR there. And I can give an example on the car today. Today the self-driving car, if you introduce in 4G, if the car is applying the brakes, the signal has to go and come back due to some situation, right? It'll take, with the latency, it'll take about 4.5 feet, something like that. But with the 5G, with the very, very low latency, we're looking at 1 inch. And that will just pave the way tremendously towards autonomous cars. Just an example. Again, 5G will provide both fixed. Because of the high speed, it'll reach fiber speeds. So there will be a real game towards the fixed network as well. So especially in 3GPP, we're talking about universal core. Just an example. So they're working on it. It's one single core delivering both fixed and the mobile networks. Okay. Okay, so again, I'm now getting into this network slicing business here. So with all of this in 5G, what we're going to see is there'll be, network slicing, it's already there. The logical slicing of the networks is already there. Layer 3 VPN, Layer 2 VPN, virtualization, the logical networks. We have done in IP networks already. But in 5G, the network slicing will be in a different ballgame altogether. So meaning that specific network slicing is end-to-end, right, from the radio to the core, even including OSS, BSS. So if I have a shipping industry or the transport industry, I may give, they may get the whole logical resources, both the OSS, BSS, the entire core all the way to the RAN network. So that's the network slicing we are talking about in 5G. And again, these independent network slicing is logically separated, right? That means one industry requires a very, very low latency network, so we will program like that. Again, I'll talk about orchestration. So, in the Tosca template, you can specify all of that. It's all, you can create a network slice. We have done a lot of demonstrations on that with our operators. Again, so each network slice, even though physical network is common, each network slice will have a unique characteristics, right? Depending on the industry that's going to deliver the services. Okay, I just touched upon this. What is 5G? This is in a pictures form, right? So it's again, with the progression of 1G, 2G, 3G, 4G, if you remember, telecommunication is a very fine breed of, right? We always took the best technologies that were available to us all the time, pretty much. With 4G, I don't want to talk about 1G, 2G, at least 4G, we took the best IP. IP technology was already there. When the 4G came in, the predominant underlying unified architecture is based on IP. That's what delivered us the good 4G network, right? So in 5G, we'll see today, based on current technologies, virtualization came in for us, already 10, 15 years old in IT, in the cloud area, right? We're going to use that virtualization and take it to the 5G. And SDN already came in, so those are the two key. And distributed cloud, obviously, Stefano touched a little bit about that, because from the core, some of the functions will go to the radio base station, right, distributed. Mobile edge computing is one example, but some of the function, we may take it to centralized as well. So it's both the way. All these flexibilities is actually, we are leveraging all of that because of SDN and virtualization. That's key. Obviously, the network slicing is a result of that, but the key thing is that management and orchestration, right? So I'll talk about it a little bit, also take some questions on that. So that's the key. The orchestration is not in one layer. We have to be very clear here. Orchestration, there are several divisions. There's a service layer orchestration, there is an application layer orchestration, and underneath, infrastructure orchestration. I'll just give an example. The OpenStack heat orchestration at an infrastructure level. I even look at Kubernetes managing the whole cluster of containers. That's for me the infrastructure layer. Then you have the layer where NMS and all of this sits. That's kind of application layer, and the service layer is on top. So all have to work together, right? And analytics will play a major role in all these areas. So she was asking a question about, hey, something happens in my network, how do I know? Here is the deal, right? The correlation will take place across all these layers. So, well, in security situations, it's not about analytics because the event is going to take place and security system needs to protect. But we can actually understand when this particular incident takes place, right? By correlating across, whether the information comes from Kubernetes or OpenStack. I'll just give an example. In Kubernetes, for example, Prometheus is a project where it's monitoring, right? We can take data from that. And in OpenStack, there's a Ceilometer. We can take data from that. All has to be analyzed in the management layer. That's critical, right? So there is a lot of, in service sessions, we're getting enormous pressure now. In a traditional service session, it's so different. In the new hybrid world, service sessions has to actually, the game is on. Because now we need to monitor much more than a traditional PNF and the proprietary hardware. So it will be a big thing, a very big impact on service assurance. The last slide, again, this is actually one of the predictions from one of the analysts. There are a lot of many predictions you should experience in analyst world. This is $1.9 trillion is the ICT predicted value add to the ICT industry. This is actually a blessing for us, right? Because our ARPU is tremendously coming down. Fixed network is obliterated. There is no revenue on that. It's over the top. It's almost free. And the mobile ARPU is coming down. So these are the new areas, the new business opportunity that will open up for us and for our operator friends and for us to work on. But we need to be ready. Our network should be capable to meet those demands. Connectivity is a key part. We can be just providing connectivity, or we can also combine the connectivity with different business model with different business services.